Welcome to our first set of videos on writing your research plan, understanding the NIH criteria. This video and subsequent videos in this series can be considered as companions to our videos on AIMS pages. This is the first of a four-part video sequence on writing a research plan. Whether you do so for a dissertation proposal, an NIH grant, or any other grant application. And we're going to use the 12-page NIH format as our guide. This video, part one, is a high-level walkthrough of the NIH peer review criteria for significance, innovation, and approach. The second video, overall structure, will focus on the large-scale architecture of the document, and we'll compare two examples that were funded by NIH. Part 3 zeroes in on significance and innovation, and we'll use the funded examples again there. And Part 4 focuses on the approach section, again using the funded examples. And of course, this is the heart of your research plan and focuses in on the specificity of the research task that you are about to undertake. As you may know, for 2011 beyond, NIH has established some revised criteria to score grant applications across very similar dimensions from the previous peer review criteria. Significance, the investigators, innovation, approach, and the environment. In this presentation, we'll just analyze and deconstruct the criteria for significance, innovation, and approach because these are the most important and critical criteria. As we review the criteria, note the words and the phrases used. When you write your proposal, whether it's a dissertation proposal, an NIH grant application, or any other grant application, use these words. That is, connect your research to those criteria explicitly. Now let's look at the enhanced peer review criteria for significance and chart the key concepts behind it. First, does your research address an important problem or critical barrier? Will the achieved aims lead to improvement in knowledge, and/or technical capability, and/or clinical practice? And will achieved aims lead to change in concepts, and/or methods, and/or technologies, and/or treatments, and/or interventions? Significance, of course, is a critical criteria. Now, you don't have to achieve all of these specific criteria, but you need to achieve one of them in each of those columns. Your research has to address an important problem or critical barrier. Your achieved aims, and again, emphasis on achieved aims, has to lead to improvement in one of those areas. And your achieved aims has to lead to change in one of those areas. Now let's look at the key concepts behind innovation. Will this project challenge or seek to shift current research clinical practice paradigms? Using novel theoretical concepts and/or novel approaches and/or novel methodologies and/or novel instrumentation and/or novel interventions. And are these novel to one field, or are they novel in a broad sense? Is the application proposing a refinement or improvement or new application in theoretical concepts, approaches, methodologies, instrumentation, or interventions? Now, in the NIH world, you do not have to meet all of these criteria or even any of them. In fact, some applications will be funded that aren't particularly innovative. But if you do have an innovative approach, typically in research projects that are methodological in nature, you really need to understand and meet some of these criteria. Now let's look at the NIH peer review criteria behind approach. are the strategy and methodology and analyses appropriate to accomplish the aims you've set out to achieve? And does your application present potential problems and alternative strategies and success benchmarks? And is your project in early stages? And if so, will the strategy establish feasibility and will risky aspects be managed? And finally, does your project involve clinical research? If it does, then does the application justify, in terms of the science research goals, inclusion of human subjects and address the risks of including human subjects, and also the inclusion of minorities, both sexes, and children? Now, it's really important when you address your approach section to meet the criteria in the first two columns: strategy, methodology, and analyses, and also potential problems and alternative strategies and success benchmarks. You need to address all of those criteria in your approach section. So here are all the key concepts for significance, innovation, and approach laid out. Now, you can find a copy of this chart on the Climb website in the Written Communication Resources area. Just follow the Understanding NIH Criteria link, and it will take you to the place where you can download a PDF of this chart. Print out this chart and put it in front of you as you are writing your proposal. Use the chart as your guide. And ask yourself, as you're writing, are you explicitly addressing the criteria that are laid out here as appropriate? Now, whether you're writing a formal NIH grant proposal or a dissertation proposal or another proposal that uses the NIH format, understanding these criteria and making sure that your proposal document explicitly addresses those criteria is more likely to lead to success in your application.